things that I think we all have to go through the years, and some of us have happened earlier than later perhaps, is you really need to know in what kind of environment you want to work and under what conditions you want to work. And are you willing, for instance, to work for Donna and in her firm? And
I'm afraid you could be your personal assistant.
I've been on a panel with Donna Fresh before, and she may not remember this was before the storm. Life to me is before the storm and after the storm. But it was something along these lines, and that's the first time I heard of this. She has a personal assistant at her house. And then I realized, with all respect to her, that is not me. That is not something that I was willing to do, wanted to do. It took a lot for me and my husband to actually hire somebody to come in and clean, because I don't know, it's a feeling. I can't really articulate it very well, but the bottom line is you have to know how you want to work. And I think there are times that I'm sure that I work or have worked as hard as Donna has, that I work 6 and 7 days a week. And I'm a person who goes to work, just because I'm a sole practitioner doesn't mean, oh, well, I'll just take off 2 or 3 days and whatever. No, that's just not my work ethic. But the clue is just understanding what it is that you want and how you want to work, and whether or not you want to work under somebody else or for somebody else or under somebody else's rules and requirements. And there is a downside to that, and that may be income. Recognizing that if you're going to work in a big firm and you're going to put in those kind of hours, you you are relieved of some obligations as a younger lawyer. You don't have to worry about making sure taxes are paid, or making sure that your secretary gets paid her check, or making sure what kind of insurance you're going to purchase for your office or for your family. Some of that is taken care of for you when you go to work for a firm. They have different responsibilities than I've got, but it's not unlike I've got to manage the whole thing. But I'm only responsible for me and the people, my secretary and another part-time secretary. But once you realize, or once you can recognize how you want to work, it really, I think, becomes a lot easier to do that work. And for me, it's just more comfortable for me to work this way. I just can't envision that I could work in that environment.
Well, I would just add that young or old, even if you've chosen a way to work, or you have adapted over the years to a different way to work within that environment, you've got to be flexible enough to know that sometimes you're going to work on something that's going to throw your life out of kilter. And it's just going to do it. I've been working on a project for 6, 7 months, and I've been working at my age 10, 12, 14 hours a day some days, and conference calls at midnight. So that's not a way for my life to be in balance, but there's an end to it. If you can survive it, then you go back, to your other way of working. But you've got to have flexibility within your own chosen, way of working to say sometimes I just may have to work a different way.
I did want to say one thing, and I don't want to scare people off, that you can't be successful unless you have your own corporation at home to run your life for you, or live, in my case, live my life for me. But and you don't need to do that to be successful. Frankly, men don't do it. I don't know who does it for them. I guess they expect that. I tell you what, I wouldn't be married to some of the men that I know that practice in this world. But be that as it may, there are ways that you can make it work for you. And now that we've got technology, and some of us actually can turn on the BlackBerry and make it work, you can work all night if you like. And you can work from at home, and while you're driving carpool, you can be emailing and messaging back to clients or whatever it is that you want to do. So there are other ways that you can work, but you don't have to be, at your desk. It's a lot of fun if you think you can do it. But I didn't want to leave everybody with the impression that to be successful you have to be me. The last thing that you want to be is me. Trust me, it's And that's that as professionals, and I heard this earlier today in a couple of the other panels, as women, we really do owe it to our profession to be successful in it and to try to move forward, because that glass ceiling got broken 20 years ago, but it's very lonely up there and very cold, and there are not many people and women around that are like Donna, that are likely that are on their management committees or that run their firms and that can be instrumental in making the policies that will make your life a little bit better by saying, no, you don't have to check, punch a clock at 9 o'clock and leave at 10 o'clock. You can go home and work, that's fine too, as long as you get the work done. There's nothing that will substitute FaceTime in the office with people that you need to see and talk to and pat on the back and all the rest of the stuff that the guys do really well. But by the same token, that's not going to change unless we change it. And we're not going to change it by complaining about it and just leaving the practice, which is happening in droves. So few women make it to partner, and once they're there, stay there, that you cannot expect for there to be changes in our industry unless we make it.
I just had a quick announcement. The hand and neck massage people are leaving at 12. If you want a hand massage, please quietly go over there. And I also wanted to add to what she was saying. Please don't email when you're driving. Wait till the car is in the carpool or at the red light. And also that what she said is very important, that technology has given women a lot more flexibility in terms of continuing to practice and balancing the responsibilities that we have outside of practice. I often, when I was at the firm, I would wake up earlier than my family and my children on Saturday morning so that I had my whole Saturday with them. So I might wake up at 6 because they slept a little later. So I had from 6 to 9 or 6 to 10 if they didn't roll out until 10 to do some work before they got to. I wasn't sacrificing my family time on the weekends or at home because I did it when I knew, hey, nobody's going to be up on me anyway. So, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to let you know in case you want a hand massage.
Donna has one of those at home too.
Hopefully one that won't shoot me, or the other way around.
We only have a couple more minutes, so if you all have any questions, we open it up for that at this time. Yes.
Sort of question and a comment. Since on the last panel talked about it might be uncomfortable taking a guy out to Hornets game or whatever. I've taken male clients out to Hornets games, the Saints games. I go out of town and we have dinner together. I mean, I don't say, oh no, who doesn't think about it or whatever. I mean, I just do it, and you act appropriately. I find they act appropriately, and I think I do it, and it's not one of them.
Yeah, I think those days are gone where we don't, interact with male clients. The first question I was asked when I interviewed at a big firm by one of the senior people was, if a judge yells at you, will you cry? And I was so shocked, and I said, will you? I mean, do you? And I never anticipated it, and I came out, and Donna's not quite as old as I am, but I know she was out, in the days of the 3 martini lunches, and we go into the girly bars, and all those things. We just don't even have it anymore. And just as Lee said, the clients don't want to do that. They want to do things that are fun, that take them away. And I think Marianne was quite correct that there's no reason not to take them to a Saints game, a Hornets game, lunch, whatever. I don't find, other than golf, I don't find that there's really any change or I don't know, discrimination, in that sense today. I think it's very different.
Well, I have a lot of women clients, and there are going to be more and more women clients out there. And part of women who leave the practice oftentimes go in-house. And so I find there are more and more women who are in-house counselors who feel like they're doing it to have more flexibility with their life, to be able to control. They'd rather, be the client rather than have to deal with the client. But in any event, so I have a lot of great relationships with my female clients, and we have great respect for each other, and girls love to talk and chat and go out to lunch and and maybe go to a spa. We do different things. I mean, but I've never been on a golf course in my